Hello and welcome to Last Week in AWS. I'm Corey Quinn, back from the wilds of the Appalachian Trail, and now I'm stuffing 2 weeks into one issue. Let's dive in and see what breaks. But first, this is sponsored by me over at duckbillhq.com. We have Skyway. It helps with your contracts. It helps with your predictions. It helps make your cloud estate better. Check us out at duckbillhq.com. Now, let's see what nonsense AWS has for us this time. CloudWatch Logs announces increased query concurrency and API limits. I'm of two minds on this one. On the one hand, tripling CloudWatch Logs query concurrency from 30 to 100 is the kind of limit increase that quietly admits the old limits have become absurdly low. You were getting throttled trying to debug your own infrastructure, which is like a hospital charging you a convenience fee to read your own chart, which they absolutely do. On the other paw, how the hell many simultaneous queries are you people running? Introducing Amazon Connect Health, agentic AI built for healthcare. 5 AI agents for healthcare, HIPAA eligible, ready to deploy in days, not months. I give it 6 months before a hospital's ambient documentation agent hallucinates a diagnosis into someone's clinical notes. But sure, let's have AI auto-generate medical billing codes. That system definitely needed less human oversight than, say, Amazon's own retail site. Amazon Route 53 Global Resolver is now generally available. Route 53 has a globally available Anycast DNS resolver that filters malicious domains and blocks DNS tunneling. Great. So DNS security is a premium add-on now, and it's super expensive. Enjoy your 30-day free trial before discovering what per-query pricing does to your budget when every device on your network makes thousands of DNS lookups daily. Simplify IAM role creation and setup and service workflows. 12 services in one region get an inline panel so you don't have to open a second browser tab. That's the innovation bar now. Although honestly, after years of playing Hunt the IAM console in another tab, I'll take it. Now then, how long until this panel introduces its own permissions to manage? Database Savings Plans now supports Amazon OpenSearch Service and Amazon Neptune Analytics. Nobody knows what the hell they need a giraffe database for, but by God, you can now commit to using them under the Omnibus Database Savings Plan. Good for them. Beanstalk now offers AI-powered environment analysis. Elastic Beanstalk is still alive, which is itself the surprise here. Now it ships your logs to Bedrock when things catch fire, so AI can tell you what went wrong. How long before someone accidentally sends sensitive production logs through this and discovers a fun new compliance problem? Beanstalk launches Deployment tab with in-progress deployment logs. And wow, who let the Beanstalk team out of their cage this week? Beanstalk now lets you watch your deployments fail in real time instead of piecing together the wreckage after the fact. Previously, you had to wait for everything to finish before you could even see logs, which is like only getting the black box recording after the plane lands in a cornfield. Yes, that's how black boxes work. Shut up. Multi-party approval now supports approval team baselining, so you can now send test approvals to make sure your approval team is still alive and responsive. It's a ping command with enterprise characteristics. AWS recommends running this every 90 days, which feels like a polite way of saying your approvers ghosted and nobody noticed for a quarter. This is a feature designed for environments that are absolute corporate hell. AWS announces pricing for VPC encryption controls. Nothing says we value your security like letting you encrypt for free during preview and then flipping the meter on. Per VPC hourly charges for the privilege of knowing your traffic is encrypted. Every non-empty VPC in every region, your CFO's eye is already twitching. The hidden price tag, uncovering hidden costs in cloud architectures with the AWS well-architected framework. I love that AWS published a blog about hidden costs in cloud architectures as if they aren't the ones hiding them. It's like a locksmith writing a pamphlet about break-ins. The post basically says, use our well-architected framework or suffer, which is solid advice wrapped in the world's longest vendor pitch. Introducing account regional namespaces for S3 general purpose buckets. For 18 years, S3 bucket names existed in a single global namespace, meaning someone could squat on your preferred name forever. Now you can scope buckets to your account and region at the low cost of appending a 25-character suffix to every bucket name. Simple storage service strikes again, a decade and a half after people really wanted something like this. Introducing OpenClaw on Lightsail to run your autonomous private AI agents. Lightsail finally found a reason to exist, running an open source AI agent that connects to your WhatsApp and manages your emails. This setup requires SSH pairing, Cloud Shell scripts, and IAM role configuration. No additional configuration required, they say, but I count at least 3 additional configurations. If you can get this running, you may not need to get this running because Claude Code is right there. Kinesis On-Demand Advantage saves 60% on streaming costs. Saving 60% sounds incredible until you notice the minimum commitment of $100 a day, which means you're spending $36,500 a year before you stream a single byte. It's the Costco model. Great savings as long as you're already buying in bulk. Your small Kinesis streams can go pound sand. Announcing the end of support for the Copilot CLI, pouring one out for Copilot CLI, which simplified ECS deployments so well that AWS killed it and told everyone to migrate to CDK Level 3 constructs or ECS Express mode instead. Nothing says, "We appreciate your loyalty," like a sunset blog post with homework assignments due by June. Remember, if you trust a fringe AWS product, it's increasingly looking like a gamble. Introducing new output formats in the AWS CLI v2. It only took until 2026 for the CLI to stop hiding useful error details behind --debug. The new --output off format is honestly perfect for anyone who's been piping it to dev null like a barbarian. Sometimes the best feature is the one that should have existed a decade ago. The SDK for .NET v3 maintenance mode announcement. Putting that thing into maintenance mode is AWS's gentle way of saying, we're not breaking up with you. We just need space. Translation: stop filing feature requests, start planning your migration, and prepare to explain to management why your perfectly working code needs rewriting. Again, you're caught between Amazon and Microsoft playing a game of tug of war, and you're the rope. Upgrade the AWS CLI from V1 to V2 using Upgrade Debug Mode. Migration has been a minefield for so long that AWS finally built a metal detector. Set an environment variable, run the commands, and pray the warnings are manageable. It only took them years to ship this. Your bash scripts written in 2017 send their regards. Automate Lambda runtime upgrades with AWS Transform Custom. Imagine spending 20 to 30% of your engineering effort manually upgrading Lambda runtimes when you could instead spend that time learning a new AI tool that does it for you, poorly, and then fixing what it broke. AWS Transform Custom, because technical debt needs its own technical debt. As a bonus, a quick look at the Transform pricing page indicates that it will also incur actual debt. Standardizing construct properties with the AWS CDK property injection. Enforcing consistent CDK properties across your org is a legitimately painful problem. Naturally, it took until version 2.196.0 for AWS to ship something that isn't just write a custom construct library and refactor everything. A property injection's a good idea, arriving fashionably late to a compliance fire that's been burning for years. AWS Load Balancer Controller adds general availability support for Kubernetes Gateway API, because the Kubernetes Gateway API support hitting GA means you can finally stop plastering vendor-specific annotations all over your ingress manifest like bumper stickers on a college laptop. Of course, you'll now need to learn 3 new resource types instead of 1, because Kubernetes believes complexity is a love language all its own. The AWS European Sovereign Cloud achieves first compliance milestone, SOC 2 and C5 reports, plus 7 ISO certifications. That's right, 9 compliance certifications for a sovereign cloud that's been running for 2 months. This is less earning trust and more speed-running the European bureaucracy boss level. Still, if you're a German government agency eyeing AWS, this is the permission slip your procurement team has been waiting for. AWS Security Hub is expanding to unify security operations across multi-cloud environment. Unified security now means we'd like to be your single pane of glass for clouds we've spent years trash talking. Security Hub absorbing multi-cloud is AWS admitting that customers actually use Azure and GCP. The partner marketplace with pay-as-you-go pricing is clever, though. Nothing locks in customers like consolidated billing. Enhanced access denied error messages with policy ARNs, telling you which policy denied your request is genuinely useful. And it only took 5 years after telling you the policy type. At this pace, by 2030, the error message might actually suggest how to fix it. Baby steps towards not making IAM troubleshooting a full contact sport. issue with AWS LC, an open source general purpose cryptographic library, and there are 3 CVEs, CVE 2026, 333, 6, 7, and 8. Their open source crypto library, including a certificate chain validation bypass and a timing side channel. The function literally called verify wasn't verifying. No workarounds exist for 2 of these 3. Patch to v1.69.0 immediately, or enjoy explaining to auditors why your cryptography was decorative. And finally, MariaDB Server Audit Plugin Comment Handling Bypass. It turns out that prefixing your SQL with a comment character made it invisible to the audit plugin. Now, that's not a bug, that's a cheat code. How do we bypass database auditing? Have you tried a hyphen? Patches are out for RDS and Aurora. No workarounds exist, so go upgrade before your auditors find out about this one too. And that's what happened the last 2 weeks in AWS. I'm Corey Quinn. Thank you for listening. Stick around. This week is gonna be something.